Hey everyone, it's Dwayne here. Welcome to another episode of Snapshots from the Summit. 5 minutes of amazing goodness that will enable you to unlock the money vault, flip the bird at the 9 to 5, and slash decades from building wealth, my friends. Okay, I get questions all the time. Like a lot of people from who have been watching. What am I up to now? 350 episodes, I think. 350 episodes of Snapshots from the Summit. And one of the questions that I've got on multiple occasions goes like this. Dwayne, you talk a lot about unlocking the money vault. You talk a lot about escaping the cage that's keeping you imprisoned, right? What do you mean by that, right? What do you mean by escaping the cage that's keeping you in prison? Do you mean like this actual real cage? Like, like a jail? Like if you've ever been into the lockup or whatever it is, or Alcatraz on a tour, do you mean like a real jail? Because I'm not in a real jail. Well, actually, for the majority of people, even though you might not be able to physically see the bars, you actually have created a cage that is keeping you imprisoned, right? Like it's a gilded cage that keeps you in prison. On the previous episode, I talked about, one of the things that we use to construct that cage is the amount of cash flow that we have going out in things that are not necessary, right? And things that are not necessary, but what they do is or expenses that are not necessary, they create a cage, right? What I mean by create the cage that keeps you imprisoned, aside from those expenses which are real, right? So are the other things that create the gilded cage that's keeping you imprisoned. Like your cage, the majority of people's cage, and you'll probably say to yourself, nah, that's not me. Yeah, it probably isn't you. You're probably different. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But the majority of people's cages that have been created out of thin air are a cage that is created by your fear, right? By your fears that are irrational, that are not real. But you have created a cage where the bars are so strong, those fears are so real to you, that every time you try to step outside of that cage, you get this internal feeling of, it's just so uncomfortable, right? And you know what I'm talking about. You absolutely know what I'm talking about. Like, have you ever tried to start a side hustle, right? And it's completely different to working for somebody else. Like if you're an employee and you've ever tried to start your own business, imagine that, right? No boss to tell you what to do, no set schedule, all this kind of stuff. It's like, do you remember when it was like back in the days, high school or college or whatever it was, you were told what class you were going to, what time you had to be there, what time recess was, what time lunch was, etc. Then you went to university, all right? And they didn't give a shit about whether you turned up to class, whether you handed in your assignments. I mean, you were left to your own devices. And so those of you who had really bad habits, you struggled. And it's the same concept, outside of your job, your 9 to 5, where you're told when to go to the loo, you're told when to have a break, when to have lunch, what you're supposed to do every minute of the day, and then you get outside of your cage, right? And it's scary, it's uncomfortable. And that's why people retract inside the cage, close the doors, and make sure that they can they strengthen those bars of the cage so that they never have to look outside it again. They never have to experience the fear, the frustration, the uncertainty. But it's outside of that cage that lives your freedom, that lives your security, that lives ultimately the life that you want to create for the people that you love, right? It's outside the bars of the cage. It's outside the bars of the fears that you have built that cage with. And so you have to step out, right? Unless you just want to go through the rest of your days and live with the regrets. You have to open that door. You have to smash that door down, and you have to smash those bars. You have to step out into the uncertainty, because it's in that uncertainty that your ultimate unlocking of the money vault resides. So my friends, what are you going to do today? What small thing are you going to do today to create some uncertainty for yourself, to diminish the power that those fears have over you, so that ultimately you can walk out of that cage and create the life of your dreams? Okay, that's your exercise for today. That's it. That's today's exercise. This is Dwayne signing off for the team here at Conquer Your Everest. I will speak to you again on the next episode of Snapshots from the Summit. Till then, bye for now.